Welcome. This video will show how to create a purchase order from a request for quotation for a single supplier. We will now go through the process of creating a request for quotation, and we will play out the scenario of the negotiation, the phone and the email, and arrive at agreeing on the request for quotation, which will then create a purchase order to that supplier, and we'll go through the process of receiving the products and processing the invoice from the supplier. So first things first, we will go to the product that we want to and check that the supplier is correctly assigned to that product by going to the warehouse menu at the top, just here. And then we click the products menu on the left hand side. Now the product we're going to use as an example is a product called Stumpy, which is a table. Now, to check that the suppliers are correctly assigned to this product, we click the Procurements menu, which is the second menu item along on the Product Details tab. Procurements here. And we can see that currently we have 2 suppliers assigned to this product. In this video we'll just be showing how to get a quote for a product for one particular supplier, but you can have quotes from multiple suppliers in Odoo, which allows you to stack your suppliers against each other and compete to give you the best price. As a reminder of how to add suppliers against a product, please refer to the previous video. Now we're ready to create a request for quotation for this product. To do so, click the Purchases menu towards the top. Click the Create Request for Quotations button and type in the name of the supplier from which you would like to request a quote. So, Better Tables Limited. And then add the product by clicking the Add Item button here. And we will see here we would like to add, let's say we want 2 tables. Well, let's take a few minutes. Let's go for 50 tables, and we expect the unit price of this table to be, let's say, £30. The amount shown here does not get sent to the supplier. It's purely for your own reference as to what you expect the price to be. Clicking the Update button will refresh the quotation to see the full price of all the order lines. It's worth pointing out at this point that if you set the cost price of this item on the product itself, it will not default to 0. So for example, if we go back to the warehouse and look at the product, we will see that its current price is set to 0. So let's go back to the product to check, but not before saving this request for quotation. Let's look at the warehouse, and we'll go to Products down on the left and search for Stumpy. Click on the product, Procurements, and we see the cost price is currently set to 0. That's the reason that it defaulted to 0 when we were creating the request for quotation. If we edit this, and let's put a more realistic amount, let's say we expect to buy this table for £25. Click Save. Now, when we add this product to a request for quotation, it will use this price as a default. So we'll go back to the Purchases menu at the top here, and let's locate that request for quotation that we were working on. Here it is. And tap on the Edit button. So just for purposes of demonstration, I'll delete this product and show that the unit price will default to £25. So clicking the Add an Item link. See now that the product price has defaulted to £25 rather. Clicking save will save this request for quotation, and now it's ready to be sent to the supplier. By clicking the send request for quotation by email, you can email it to them directly, and it creates a PDF attachment to the email which will get sent directly to the supplier. Notice that it takes the email address directly from the partner record within Odoo. Additionally, you can print the request for quotation as a PDF. Notice that the supplier receives only the expected date that you would like these items to be received and the quantity of products. I've noticed here that I've specified 1, whereas before we wanted 50. So before I actually send it, I will update the quantity. So I'll edit, and then I will edit the quantity line here to 50. I've just tapped on enter, and clicking the save button, the price will update accordingly, and it's now ready to be sent. Reprint, and we could, if we wanted to, click the resend by email. And then of course you have to wait for the supplier to get back. This could be either via email, or perhaps you're on call. You could tap on the supplier link here, and you've got their phone number. Ring them up and say, we've just sent you a request for quotation, what's your offer? And then you can jump back to the quotation with a shortcut here, and you can edit the request for quotation accordingly. So perhaps, for example, they offered you a better price of £22. Now at that point you can say that the bid was received, and if you're happy with that negotiation, you can confirm the order. Once that has been confirmed, Odoo changes the record from a request to quotation to a purchase order, and you'll notice now that the blue link here has changed to purchase confirmed, whereas before it started off as a draft purchase order, then became a request for quotation. We received a bid. That bid came over the phone, for example, or perhaps it came over the email, and then we confirmed that, and now we're ready to send the purchase order by email to that customer. And we can send that directly in email. Alternatively, we can print the purchase order directly by selecting the print menu and ask Odoo to print the purchase order. And you'll notice this time it does include the price that was quoted from the supplier. After a space of time, of course, the products will eventually arrive, and it's time to receive the products. You'll notice here the source document is purchase order number 18. Now this is the number that you would use to check when the shipment arrives, and it's a way of matching up the order that arrives with the stock that arrives with the purchase order, and being able to check that the quantities and what arrives is actually what you've paid for. Clicking to the transfer button on the top left here allows you to specify where the products will be transferred to, so they go from the supplier location to the warehouse stock location. Clicking apply will make this move occur. That completes receiving the products. In a while, of course, an invoice will arrive from the supplier, and a quick link to go back to that purchase order is up here at the top where it says purchase order 18, and you can, if you like, receive the invoice at this point. It's probably less likely that you will receive an invoice in such a short space of time, So it's more likely that you would navigate to this invoice from the purchase orders menu over here on the left. At a later date, and then you will see here that you've got a purchase confirmed, Better Tables Limited, and you can say we've received the invoice by clicking the red button here. And at this point you can check that the invoice actually matches what was ordered and the sums match. Validate the invoice, click the pay button and transfer the payment and record the payment within Odoo. That completes going from a request for quotation to a purchase order using Odoo. There's a lot more features we could have covered with order processing in Odoo. However, this just covers the basics of doing a purchase order and negotiating with one supplier. It's possible to do call for bids for many other suppliers at once on one product, or many products for that matter. That will be for another video. This video, as we say, just focuses on taking a purchase order from a request for quotation and receiving those products and paying the invoice for that purchase order. Thank you.